Awesome.
But very good guy too, very good fighter. And him and Vinny were both in the UFC, so they got a lot of guys.
John
like
Howard
Fitch,
too. John
Fitch,
Howard,
Paul Harris.
Yep, and then they also got my boy Jake Shields.
Jake Shields,
he's fighting
right.
Fitch. Soon.
He's fighting Fitch. That's a good fight. That is the same night as the UFC fight in. I think it's the same night as UFC fight in New York City.
Oh, you fucked up. World Series.
That's a tough draw.
Yeah, well, there's
or
a
maybe
live
it's,
fight in the kid that
maybe
night
it's
too.
that
We
weekend.
fucked up too. Everyone fucked up.
Yo, let's get busy with this. What do you think about this, Brendan Schaub? I am very excited about this fight. I think people are fucking sleeping on Eddie Alvarez. I think he's a dangerous 155-pounder. That motherfucker can punch. He punches hard. He's fast as fuck, and there's not a human alive that's more game than that kid.
I agree 100%.
That dude, if you've never seen him fight before, you got to watch his fights in Bellator with Michael Chandler.
And Dream.
Yep.
Watch his fights in Dream, too.
And Michael Chandler's another dude who's out there who is world class that could easily be fighting and winning in the UFC.
Oh, yeah.
And you see it now with Eddie Alvarez because it took a while for Eddie to get comfortable in the UFC. Donald worked him over in his first fight because
He got dismantled by Donald.
But now he's training with your boy. He's with Mark Henry. And look, Conor's a goddamn phenom, and he's got, as Faraz Sahabi likes to call it, the touch of death in his hands.
It's a scary fight, man. Anyone who thinks it's an easy fight or not a big fight for Connors, they just don't know the sport.
They're out of their
talking about
fucking
the
mind.
underground king. I think at 55, and everyone knows I'm the biggest Conor nut rider in the world. At 55, I just don't see a ton of success there. I think Eddie Alvarez, if you look at the top 5, we've talked about this before, you look at the top 5, it's his easiest matchup, and that's a fucking nightmare for him. Because Eddie can grapple his ass off. He's been in so many big fights. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't mind winning by decision either.
He doesn't get tired, and he's a bigger grappler.
Yes.
Those are two. And he can fucking crack.
And look at his resume.
Yes. And his
Look at his
striking is
resume.
crisp, man.
Yeah.
He's got crisp striking. He's not an easy guy to hit. You know, you can hit him, and he gets rocked, and he survives. If you watch his Chandler fights, Eddie Alvarez got rocked and survived against Chandler and a couple other guys over in Bellator.
Well, think about it. How's Conor win this fight? You go through it. Has to knock him out. He has 5 rounds to knock him out. You're not winning a decision against Eddie.
He could win a
Grappling.
decision.
I don't think so.
Why
I disagree.
Not? But why do you? What about the fight with Gilbert Melendez? Eddie won a decision in the Gilbert Melendez fight.
Oh no, I'm saying Eddie wins by decision.
Right, but
I don't
you
think
don't
Conor.
think that Conor could beat him in a similar fight?
No.
No? You don't think he has the endurance?
The endurance, the takedowns, the grappling, with the striking. As the rounds go on, the knockout power goes down.
Do you think people sleep on Alvarez's wrestling? Because I think they forget.
They forget how good of a wrestler he is. And his endurance, man.
Yeah.
How
It's
far
a
did he get
scary
in college?
fight.
Where did he wrestle?
He was a high-level guy.
Yeah. Was he
big
Division
NCAA?
One?
He was Division One. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
All American?
I'm not sure, but compared to Conor, he's fucking Dan Gable.
Yo, this fight is nasty. Right, and
Wrestling.
we all know that those guys. I mean, we're talking about Jimmy Mano and
sorry.
Ovince St.
I was-
Preux about to go
sorry,
down.
yeah,
No,
go
but I'm saying this fight is nasty. Just to not confuse people at home. But I agree with you, man. I think people sleep on him.
It's
and I think
crazy,
until you've
man.
rolled with like a real Division I wrestler and you realize how fucking strong their wrestling is, All American.
That's high school. National Prep All-American.
What is his college wrestling record? He doesn't have
Does
one.
he have no college wrestling?
Doesn't say he has college wrestling.
He got his wrestling in frickin' Dream. How about that?
Yeah, he
does it
probably
say?
just went right. He bypassed that career and went right into MMA.
So he
So
was a
All-American
high-level
high school,
wrestler,
yeah.
which is not as impressive
No.
as a college wrestler.
Not
but
at all.
when you see him wrestle, you know he's got some skills.
Does he like just to stand up though?
He loves standing
He loves
up.
to
Yeah.
trade
He
and
can
bang.
bang.
Because
Bang.
Conor
Bang.
just wants to stand up, obviously.
He's too smart. He's been in
Most
there with some of the
likely.
best, you know. So
Connor's not an easy takedown though, even
No.
to high school champion.
Chad
or
Mendes
a
begs
college-
to differ.
As time goes on, he's gonna be harder and harder to get.
That
taken
Chad
down.
Mendes fight, though, in Connor's defense, he had a pretty fucked up knee in that fight. He was
True.
getting stem cell
True,
injections
but-
in his knee.
But that's also the only wrestler we've ever seen Conor fight, and
It's
he
true.
got taken down pretty effortlessly.
yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? That's
He
the only.
did,
That's
but-
that's the only thing we can go off of. You
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I got a bad knee." I get that. It's a tough fight, man. But people who think Conor's gonna walk those guys, they don't know the sport, man. I saw the fight and went, fuck.
It's true, but also I could see Connor just
Murking
cracking him.
Oh yeah, that's
That can
how
happen,
Conor's
too.
gonna win. He's gonna if Conor wins, he's gonna murk him.
Connor has some vicious fucking power in his hands.
Has Eddie been knocked out
Yes,
often?
he's been stopped.
Yeah.
Chandler stopped him. He rear naked choked him and beat him for the title.
Has he been knocked out?
I don't think he's been knocked out.
He's
I
been
do
in
not
some
think
wars,
so. He's
man.
been in some
He's been in some straight
crazy
dog
wars.
fights.
He's just as game as they come. I think he's one of those guys that fights at his very best when he's scared.
Correct.
And I think that's going to be one of the best things about this fight. Is that he thinks Conor's a dangerous motherfucker, just like he thought Rafael Dos Anjos. He stopped Dos Anjos in the first round.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, including me, were making the argument that Dos Anjos, if you look at the guys he's beaten, stopped Cowboy in the first round, beat the shit out of Nate Diaz.
Pettis.
Beat Pettis up, stopped Ben Henderson, crushed him. I mean, you look at all the guys that he's beaten,
Yeah.
there's a real argument that he's one of the best lightweights of all time.
Yeah.
And then Eddie went and stopped him in the first round.
And
so.
everyone thought he was going to get murdered. Like, everyone thought Eddie was just going to get. It was, thought it was a huge.
He doesn't
mismatch.
have the marquee name recognition type thing.
They don't know him
It's
yet.
a dangerous
Yeah.
fight for Conor, man, because he has such a big name. But
Yeah.
what if Conor does win? You imagine the 55 belt holder
It's crazy.
And the
if
40,
he wins,
I mean,
it's crazy.
too.
and the
Yeah.
and then I think you'll.
Don't forget about Tony in there.
Tony. Well, no, we're not forgetting about him for sure. But I think the thing about Eddie Alvarez is that he has the title, and that's why it's sellable. If it was just Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez, and he
wouldn't
didn't
be.
have the title, you can't sell it.
It's just that
Well,
belt.
Because
It's
it's in
still get a
Madison Square
million.
Garden, though.
It's still
That
get a million.
title's so valuable. This is
Oh,
where you
yeah.
realize how valuable that title is.
100%.
Because Tony is right in there, in my opinion, as is Barboza, as is a couple guys. Habib Nurmagomedov is, of course, everybody's first choice. He's undefeated. Nobody's been able to deal with that
he will
grappling.
suplex your face
And
off.
he's a nasty fucking striker, too. He
Someone
throws
give him a
murderous
goddamn
shots.
fight. Give him a
well,
fight.
he's fighting. He's fighting Michael Johnson in the new.
Oh, that's right.
In that card, that's a fucking great fight. Johnson just coming off of the knockout of Poirier. That's a great fight.
It's a great fight. Is that on the main card?
Yes,
It's the
of
best.
course.
Let's be real.
Must be.
We always argue what's the best UFC fight card. That's the best UFC fight
By
card of all
far.
time. Not even close.
It's like by far.
If it holds up.
Yeah, if it holds up.
What's the
Don't say
lineup?
that.
What's the lineup? Can I see it?
Yeah,
The
don't jinx it.
lineup is
Right there.
fucking insane. You have 3 world title fights. You have Alvarez
Holy
versus
shit.
Conor McGregor. You have Tyron Woodley's fighting Wonder Boy.
That's a fun
Holy
fight.
shit.
People
Yeah.
forget that this is even happening because everybody's talking about other fights. They forget this fight. How about Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz? Come on, man.
Yeah,
Nobody's
man.
even talking about that. And then you have Chris Weidman versus Yoel motherfucking Romero. Come on.
That's nuts. Then our boy Cowboy.
Cowboy
Yeah.
versus Kelvin. That's
What
a
about
good
Kelvin,
fight.
son?
And look at this, Misha
My
Tate
boy.
versus Raquel Pennington. That's a fucking
never mad
badass
when
fight.
Misha
Yeah.
fights.
Never mad. And
mad.
Raquel Pennington is one of the best bantamweights in the world. Nobody talks about her because she's won some fights in a crazy way, like the Ashley Evans Smith fight.
With the
she's
ear?
had some
Oh,
great.
no, yeah.
But she
Yeah.
took Holly Holm to a fucking split decision.
God, those girls have lost a lot though. 8 and 6.
They have brawls, bro.
Yeah,
these
they
girls
do.
go after it.
That's
and
a
Raquel
great point,
Pennington,
though,
in my
sir.
opinion,
She's 8-6.
super aggressive. I like watching her fight, man.
Misha got beat up in the last fight.
She did.
God.
Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Amanda Nunes, no joke. Oh my God, Frankie Edgar versus Jeremy Stevens.
This
I
card's fucking
forgot about
ridiculous.
that. I almost forgot about that. That's insane.
Nuts.
Nurmagomedov and Johnson.
Holy shit.
It's not even close. There's not even a second place.
Oh, and
Rashad
look at this.
Kennedy. Oh my God.
Two of my favorites.
Holy
I love
shit.
both
Why,
those
why
guys.
did they decide to go gangbusters on this one?
Rafael Natal is fighting Tim Bosch.
That's a fun fight.
That's a
Natal
fun
being,
fight.
You know, he trains in New York with Henzo.
Jim Miller and
Throwback.
Thiago Alves. Thiago Alves
That's
fighting
huge.
155. This
Come
is his
on,
first
that's
fight at
huge.
155.
That's a I call that the Throwback Thursday fight.
Have you seen what Alves looks like? It's crazy.
I have not.
He's
shredded.
he's way thinner. He's lighter. You know, you remember when Alves fought Matt Hughes when he didn't make weight?
Yeah.
And he was a gorilla. Gorilla.
He's a baby
He
gorilla.
was so jacked. It was insane.
And then his hair said, "See ya."
He had muscles that would start above his ears.
For real.
And
He
make
looked
their
like
way.
a pit bull. Like,
Yeah.
well, excuse me, sir, you're actually turning into a pit bull.
When he stopped Matt Hughes
No,
with
no,
that
you don't
flying
fight like
knee,
a pit bull. You look like.
He looks like one. Yeah.
he was so big. He was so powerful.
Jacked. One of the best bodies
He was,
in MMA.
Yeah.
dude. He was the most feared.
Look
He
at
was
him
the
there.
Edson Barboza of like 10 years ago.
Look at him right
my
there.
God.
Good
Oh,
fucking
he was bigger
Lord.
than Boboza, man.
Well,
he was a big fucking
He was a
deal.
beast.
Yeah.
Do you remember he fought Martin Kampman and was tooling Martin Kampman until he went for the takedown
Yeah.
out of nowhere? He was winning. He had him hurt. He had him staggered, and someone told him to go for the takedown.
Yeah.
And
Someone
he got
should
caught in
be
the
fired.
guillotine.
Someone should be fired.
First time I seen him fight, it was at a small show in a high school in Chicago. Jason Chambers fought Thiago Alves.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
How'd
right.
that go for
It
your
was like,
boy?
oh, he's an American top team guy. And man, from that fight, it was quite clear that he was going to have a serious career.
Was he
in MMA.
bodied
You're
up
like,
then?
Holy shit.
Thiago's always bodied up, but not well. Actually, when he fought Spencer Fisher, people don't remember. Spencer the King, motherfucking Fisher, caught him with a
school.
triangle. Spencer was a skillful fighter,
Savage.
and he caught Thiago with a triangle. But I think Thiago was only like 20 years old at the time. I think he was super young. But I think that was Thiago's first fight in the UFC, if I remember right.
I thought Thiago was fighting at 19 or 20, right? He was young.
Real young. But so he looks real light now, real thin, and he did the Cam Hanes thing. And Cam, how much did you lose when you had to do that Bigfoot 200? You lost like 20 pounds, right?
Yeah.
But you did it. He did it in the most gangster way because at 180, he was not fat. So what he had to do is he had to make his body eat itself. You have to burn off 3,000 calories and take in 1. Or take in
Damn,
2.
you're a madman.
I did 4 and 3.
4 and 3. So there you go.